1. The Whispering Woods. It was a moonless night, and a chilling breeze rustled the leaves in the dense forest. Emily had always been drawn to the mysteries of the Whispering Woods, despite the eerie tales that surrounded it. Alone in her cabin, she decided to finally unravel its secrets. Armed with a flashlight and a sense of adventure, Emily ventured into the dark expanse. The silence was overwhelming, broken only by the occasional hoot of an owl or the rustle of leaves under her feet. As she walked deeper, she began to feel an inexplicable unease, a sensation that someone or something was watching her every move. Emily's flashlight flickered, casting eerie shadows around her. She quickened her pace, anxiety creeping in as she struggled to find her way back. The forest seemed to shift around her, paths twisting and turning in ways she didn't remember. Panic set in, and Emily felt a presence closing in on her. In the distance, she heard faint whispers, like the wind carrying voices that weren't meant for mortal ears. Frozen in fear, Emily strained to listen, her heart pounding loudly in her chest. The whispers grew louder, more distinct, and she could make out fragmented words that sent shivers down her spine. Terrified, Emily tried to retrace her steps, but the forest seemed to play tricks on her, leading her in circles. The whispers grew louder still, and Emily's mind began to blur between reality and delusion. Shadows danced around her, taking on sinister forms that seemed to be taunting her. Just as despair was about to consume her, a distant glimmer of light caught her eye. Following it, Emily stumbled upon an ancient stone altar surrounded by gnarled trees. The whispers now felt like a chorus of tormented souls, and Emily realized that she had stepped into something beyond her comprehension. With a surge of courage, Emily reached out and touched the altar. In an instant, the whispers ceased, replaced by an ominous silence. The forest around her seemed to sigh, as if relieved. The shadows retreated, and Emily's flashlight regained its steady glow. Exhausted but alive, Emily navigated her way out of the Whispering Woods. She never spoke of that night to anyone, for fear of being deemed insane. Yet, whenever she glanced at the woods from her cabin window, she couldn't shake the feeling that the ancient forest still whispered to her, holding secrets that were better left undisturbed. 2. The Haunted Reflection. Amelia was an artist known for her breathtaking paintings, but her latest obsession was a mysterious mirror she had found at an antique shop. The mirror had an ornate frame adorned with delicate silver filigree, and its glass held an uncanny allure that drew Amelia in. One fateful night, alone in her studio, Amelia decided to paint her own reflection in the antique mirror. As she meticulously recreated her features, her reflection seemed to take on a life of its own, smirking at her with a sinister grin. Startled, Amelia stumbled back, but her reflection remained distorted and malevolent. Desperation gnawed at her as she tried to look away, but her gaze was locked onto the mirror. The reflection's eyes glowed with an otherworldly light, and Amelia could feel an invisible force tugging at her, trying to pull her into the mirror's depths. With every heartbeat, the studio seemed to grow colder, and the mirror's frame began to crack. Frantic, Amelia reached for her phone to call for help, only to find it dead. The air was thick with a sense of impending doom as her reflection slowly stepped out of the mirror, its movements mirroring her own. Terror-stricken, Amelia's doppelganger advanced, its fingers elongating into grotesque claws. The room seemed to twist and contort, the walls closing in around her. Her reflection's voice echoed in her mind, whispering dark promises of power and freedom if only she would surrender. Summoning all her courage, Amelia seized a nearby paintbrush and thrust it into the mirror's surface. The glass shattered with a deafening scream, and Amelia was thrown back as a surge of energy consumed the room. When the dust settled, the mirror was shattered, and her reflection was nowhere to be found. Exhausted and shaken, Amelia knew she had narrowly escaped a fate worse than death. The antique mirror was gone, but its malevolent presence still lingered, a reminder that some reflections are better left untouched. 3. The midnight train. Lucas was a skeptic when it came to ghost stories, so when he stumbled upon an abandoned train station rumored to be haunted, he scoffed at the idea. Determined to prove the tales wrong, he decided to spend a night alone in the station to uncover the truth. As midnight approached, the air grew colder, and the moonlight cast eerie shadows on the decaying platform. Lucas set up his makeshift camp near the tracks. Armed with a flashlight and a voice recorder, he was determined to capture any evidence of the supernatural. Hours passed, and the station remained eerily quiet. Just as Lucas was beginning to feel victorious, he heard a faint, distant whistle. His heart raced as the sound grew louder, the ground trembling beneath his feet. To his disbelief, an old vintage train emerged from the darkness, its dim headlights casting an eerie glow. The train screeched to a halt at the station, its doors creaking open. Lucas' skepticism wavered as he hesitated near the doorway, his flashlight illuminating the empty seats within. He cautiously stepped aboard, his curiosity overcoming his fear. Inside the train, the air was thick with an otherworldly presence. The seats were worn and tattered, as if frozen in time. The windows were shrouded in darkness, revealing nothing of the outside world. Lucas' voice recorder crackled to life, capturing the distant sound of mournful whispers. The train jolted to life with a sudden jerk, its engines humming with an eerie melody. Lucas' heart pounded as he realized there was no conductor, no one in control. The train moved through the night, its path uncertain, its destination unknown. As the train rumbled on, the whispers grew louder, forming haunting melodies that echoed in Lucas's mind. He felt a presence beside him, a cold breath on his neck. Turning slowly, he saw figures seated in the empty rows, their faces obscured by shadows. In a moment of terror, Lucas realized he was surrounded by ghosts, trapped on a spectral train that traversed the boundary between the living and the dead. The train's interior grew colder, the air suffused with a palpable sense of sorrow and longing. Desperation clawed at Lucas as he searched for an escape, but the train was relentless, hurtling through the night with an unstoppable force. Hours turned into an eternity as Lucas' sanity wavered, haunted by the souls that surrounded him. Just as hope was about to fade, the train's pace slowed, and its headlights illuminated the abandoned station once more. The doors creaked open, and Lucas stumbled onto the platform, his body trembling with fear and relief. The train faded into the darkness, leaving Lucas alone in the night, forever changed by his encounter with the supernatural. The abandoned station stood as a chilling reminder that not all mysteries can be explained away, and some journeys lead to the unknown depths of the human soul. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the Dark Tales Unleashed channel for more such content.